But Art, he actually, every band leader has their own way of leading the group, needless to say. Everyone has their own characteristics. Art actually liked to have the band kind of riled up and angry. Felt like it got us to play better. He never said that, but it was quite apparent to everyone. So one thing he would do, which was sort of guerrilla warfare, was he would go to one member of the band and he'd go up to Riley, the trumpet player, and he'd say, "Man, what's Nate's problem with you?" He says he has this other trumpet player, his homeboy, and he says he plays 10 times better than you, and he wants him in the band. He says, "I think you're cool." And he would go to each member of the band and do things like that. When we get on the bandstand, just PO'd at each other. We'd all be grinning at each other, no one would be talking, but we'd all be smiling at Art. He had us just where he wanted, because we were all playing for him, and he was like the sun in the center of the group. And Art also wanted you to stay hungry, and whenever we would play in New York, needless to say, there were countless young musicians representing each instrument in the band that would show up at our shows, lurking, as we said, you know, like vultures, wanting your gig. And so it made you really play to your utmost. But Art had no sentiment about firing someone and hiring someone else if he found someone better. So he felt great about the whole situation, and he would encourage young musicians to sit in with the band, and he was hoping that you'd get cut. So it was a very pressurized environment. And I remember one night we had played in Boston, and the next day we were driving back to New York, where the band was based, and Art was taking his own car, but the rest of the messengers we were in a van, and I was sitting in the front passenger seat. I was riding shotgun, and Art just walked by the car and looked at all of us, and I was so tense that morning. I remember whatever was going on in the band. Art said, "Dave Green, he looks like a Doberman Pinscher. You can tell he's a messenger." he thought it was humorous. Anyway, it was so tremendous getting to play with Art, and he had so much power, as I mentioned earlier. He would really he would steamroll over you if you didn't bring it. So, you know, this was my whole objective in moving to New York, was to get to play with Art. So once I actually had the gig, I became sort of a warrior of sorts, and I didn't want anyone else to steal my gig, and I wanted to make sure I could project while playing the piano. Like my build at the time, I was not that much bigger than Andrew, and I developed a sound though. I would play from my shoulders, and I would be my feet would be grounded on the floor, and I could really project, even if there was no mic in the piano. You could always hear me. I don't know how much finesse I had, but I could definitely project. And just having that opportunity to play with Art did so much for me musically and in terms of my career. One member of the band, our bassist, Peter Washington, great bassist, actually decided to quit the band. No one else that the whole time was in the band actually quit of their own accord. Some people were fired, but no one else chose to quit. So I knew that the day would come that I would be fired, because I did not want to leave that band. And Art used to say to us, as I told you guys here, this is not the post office, meaning you don't stay in the band forever. So he would warn us in that kind of way that our days were numbered. But I just wanted to soak up as much of that as I could, because Art truly was the hardest swinging drummer in the history of music. And I've been very blessed. I got to work with the hardest swinging drummer and the hardest swinging bassist ever in jazz, Ray Brown. So I think about it every single day, how it felt to play with them. And I may never be on their level, because those guys are exceptional, but I have actually been to the mountaintop, just in terms of experiencing what it can feel like to have that kind of pulse and that kind of support underneath.